The thing that we're going to review today is how to use the line tools like the line, the pen, and the pencil tool in order to create a look that is like the brush, but it's not using the brush. It's using the pencil tool and the pen tool primarily. So the pencil tool in Animate now has this really cool method where you can get a variegated stroke. And I'm going to show you it in a new file. So I've got this file here. I'm also later going to be showing you how to use the same kind of tool to use the lines in order to create a line that is not made with the brush, but it is made with the line tool. You can see that the style is set here in such a way. So I'm going to turn off these previously created pieces and make a new layer, and I'm going to call this figure. I'm just going to do some tests with some pencil work here. So I'm going to grab the pencil tool and we're going to set it to one of our dark browns, and I'm going to do some drawing. Okay, so that pencil tool is not a variegated tool. So I'm going to click on it with the arrow tool. That then allows me to get into color and style. So if you do not have that, it is within properties. You need to have window and then properties. So window and properties. I already have mine open. It's here. Then I can find this color and style, which might be hidden for you. So you need to arrow that down. This stroke size, I can now take it and make it larger. And that's one of the benefits of having a line tool. We can make it larger. But we can also, this style and this width is what is not set to be what we would like it to be. So I'd like for you to click on the width section. And this is where we can make it look like it's a variegated line. So if you click like that, all of a sudden our line is a variegated line. And it looks like it's a brush. But it is using the pencil tool. If I were to click into it with the selection tool, the sub-selection tool, which is A, the shortcut, you can see that I've got points. These points now, we'll be able to pull these points around and alter and move the points. So that will be a great benefit to us when it comes to later when we're going to be animating lines and moving them around. We won't have to use so many points to try to manipulate it. So we'll have a lot of opportunity there. So I'm going to, now that I've got a line that is appropriate, I'm going to just kind of draw an eye using that method. So you can see how you can get a sense of variegated stroke. If I wanted to change one element, I can click on it and we can play with the size. This little piece here was a little extra that I got. I just clicked delete. But each of these can be played with for size. You can also select a lot of stuff, which I didn't get that, and then play with for the figures, we're only using, by the way, this width selection. For the effects, we'll be using these style selections, and I'll go over that next. But the figures, we're using this width. Now you can work with some variety of any of these until you find something that is functioning for you in the way that you like. I start with this one, and I might find that, like, this particular one, I might want it to go like that. So you can see that we can alter and change the look of these as we work. So there we go. A quick demo on how to use the pencil tool to create something that is variegated line. The style guide for the Jim Crow Museum is to use the straight style and the width set to this to start, and then you can play and determine after that. You can also use any kind of dark line that you would want. So we could select all of these and change them to dark blue or something like that if we want. All right, so explore that. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is how to work with effects in such a way that they are also made with a line tool and are able to use these kind of squiggle looks. So I'm going to turn off my figure line. This is a line tool. It looks like it is a brush, but it is coming from this style. So I'm going to kind of retrofit it to show you that we can alter and change these brushes as we want. So we can change the style to this. We can change the style to this dry brush, up the scale of it. We can change the edging of it so this has a variety of width. We can make it so that it has standard width across, and I'll do one of these where it kind of goes triangle thick to thin. So this is something that we're going to use in our animations for the effects, and you can use a lot of different varieties of these. So I'm going to show you how we access that. So I'm going to turn these off, and I'll use this new layer. And again, I'm going to use the pencil tool. And for this one, I will go with an orange, which because we're using our swatches, we would maybe pick from one of these oranges. So I'm going to go with that. So I'm in that orange color. It's set on the line. I'm going to just do a line. So that line, the very first one I did was based on this. So I'm going to click my V tool and grab it. You can see that it actually looks like it's selected, but I'm going to sub-select it and see that it is a line. So I'm going to be able to alter and change these lines. I can delete some of the points to make it not be so many points. And now that I've got it just kind of a simple set of lines, I'm going to be able to alter this. So this very first stroke that I have, sure, it's an effect look, but it's not necessarily what we want. So again, I'm going to go into properties. And I don't want to be in this line mode with it. I want to select it with the selection tool. So I'm going to select it here. It's selected. And I'm going to go into style. And I have these predetermined on here, and that's why I'm going to be able to get these. But I'm going to show you how to set them up. But you can see how we can grab and change them into whatever we want. In order to get a new brush, which when you first go to here, you're just going to have these. These are the standard that come with Animate. You're going to go to these little ellipsis dots here. So there's the style options. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to the brush library. Inside of brush library, which I actually already had open, there are a lot of options. These are very similar to what comes from Illustrator. So I'm going to click on artistic, and I'm going to click on ink. And these are some of the selections that we have available. So I'm going to click on dry ink too, which actually I had already used, so maybe we'll go with this calligraphy one. So if I double click, and it says that if you hover on it, if you double click it, it's going to change and it will add it into this set. So I believe that this is dry ink 1, this is dry ink 2, this is a hand-drawn vector pack 07, so that came out of here. So if you want to explore a lot of these, you can just double click into them and they will start to add into your style pack. The vector pack has hand-drawn brushes, and this is where I accessed these kind of real squiggly looking files. So as soon as I put it into here, I'll be able to have it in my set, and I'll be able to work together with them. You'll just want to make a note that your team is going to decide on using hand-drawn brush vector pack 05 or whatever it is that your team will use. The benefit of using this is that when you go to your selection tools, which for some reason I'm not able to grab right now. So I just used my Cintiq pen, and I'm using my the front clicker, and then I'm clicking the selection tool, subselect. I can see my points of my line, and I'll be able to move and work with that. Now the animators will be able to really create a very cool look with it in terms of animation, because they'll be able to do quite a bit of stretching and pulling and making some cool things. So for example, this line that I have here, which I'll name this layer so that, for example, my team might know about it. It's called, hand-drawn VP5. So that helps me to know what the tool is if you end up finding a good one. Okay, so this is the brush that I've selected, and later down the timeline I'm going to make a new keyframe. And so I'm going to insert a keyframe. So this keyframe is different than this, although it hasn't been altered yet. I'm going to keep the same point. Oops, Control Z, I'm on a PC, otherwise that would be Command Z to undo. I'm going to move these points to make it squiggle in a way that will be interesting and extending out. So we're moving these points around. It will do, it will be able to move to that. If I click in the middle of this, I'm going to create a shape tween, not a classic tween, a shape tween. And now when we move between these, you can see that it's squiggling around, and that's going to be a really beautiful way to have effect animation. So that all can be altered afterwards if we needed to. We could click on the V selection tool, the standard selection tool. I can click on it. I can tell it to go and use a different brush. I'm kind of breaking it here because there was two different things. So let's see. Let's go to here, select the whole thing, turn it into this brush. Okay. Now let's go to here and also select that whole thing. So I'm going to go Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac. And oops, my computer is being a little bit crazy right now. And select that. Okay, so now it's also going to be able to shift into that. So a little wiggly animated effect. So this is why we're working with these files in this way. We can get quite a lot of options with the new Animate. It's called Brush Library, but it is using the line tool, and that's where it is a little bit confusing. Everything is being used with points. So we draw it with a pencil. If I draw a line, right, I'm going to add a style to it. I can first start with it being just standard variegated width. I'm going to click V to select it. And then I'm going to choose one of my effect looks. And there's multiple ones that you can look at. There are even pattern brushes to play with. So I'll double click into here to add that into the set. Okay, So there's some opportunity there. Geometric, not doing some patterns. There are some that we can do custom, and that will have to be a different demo, but you can see that there are some pattern brushes already here. Our effects are being used in our storytelling to really push the story further, to talk about the main element in the visual. Other than that, the figures are using variegated width line, which is using our brush packs, the brush library, but it is using the line tools. So line, pen, and pencil is how we make these variegated lines, as well as line tool, pen, and pencil will make these brushes for the effects. Okay? Line tools make brushes. Have fun. Bye.